Yeah, oh shit, something happened with the intro. I don't know what the hell happened. But we're live. Welcome everybody. And we do got a special guest tonight. I'm gonna bring him up here in a minute, but how you guys all fucking doing? It's fucking Friday, Black Friday. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying it. And let's meet our special guest tonight real quick. You guys all know who he is.
What's up, everybody?
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Reptile Love Show, where we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's going on in the hobby, man. What's up, fellas?
What's up? How's it going? Appreciate you guys bringing me on.
I can't complain, man. How was y'all holiday?
Mine was good. Mine was good. Had a lot of fun with the kids, and it's a lot of fun. A lot
of turkey.
A lot of optimism. We ended up having a random babies pop out. One of the field collected sidewinders we had babies. Was just random.
You got a lot of animals. Don't you got a lot? You're the one that got like 300 something animals, ain't you?
Yep.
Ooh, shit, no. I feel like I got a lot having 10 plus.
So welcome everybody in the chat. What's up?
I said, did you eat good on the holiday, Big D?
Yeah, man. I went to my mom. She made everything.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, what's up to everybody in the chat, man? Much love. Thank y'all for being here. Let's go ahead and jump into the topic, because I think let's pull up the first one.
All right, let's get into this topic. So, have you seen the show, Rodriguez?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them. I've popped in a couple times.
So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. A dad, his son ended up dying after he was bit by a venomous snake, and the dad ended up telling his son, his son said, "Hey, Dad, something bit me," and his dad ended up telling him, "Hey, don't worry about it. It was probably nothing. Go to bed." Dude goes to bed, dies the next morning. Kid died from a snake bite. How does that make you feel, man?
Okay.
Me personally, that pisses me off. There's so many protocols that go with venomous keeping. There should have been no interaction to where a young child was in contact with a venomous snake, whether it's coming up to the cage or anything. I mean, it depends. I'm assuming it was a severe allergic reaction, or it depends on what the snake was. I mean, whether it was a cobra, gaboon, or anything like that.
It happened when I'm gonna interrupt you. It happened when they was out walking. So they live in Australia. They live in Australia. In Australia, everything is venomous. So
was it like the guy's animal, or was it an outdoor animal?
No,
it's outdoor.
Oh, okay. I thought for a second it was somebody's collection, and then the guy let a kid get bit. That almost set me off, that one.
Now,
no, that you would think in Australia, if a child got bit by something out there, a lot of their species is venomous. So you would have thought, hey, maybe I should investigate on what you got bit by, and maybe we should go get you looked at.
Right. I agree with you.
Because they've got a lot of venomous species out there, and theirs are very toxic.
I agree with you. David, bring that page back up, because I want to read it, and I'm gonna let you talk about it next. So this is the follow-up story. So it happened, his son died, right? So I've been kind of keeping up with the story, and I decided to kind of look into it again for tonight. And it said that they charged him. Dad finally charged. So let's go to the next page. So it says, new details about a boy who died after being bitten has been revealed. The boy's father has since been charged with manslaughter for the tragedy. It says that the kid was 11 years old, and this happened in November. He encountered the reptile, but he died hours later. So let's take that down right quick. 11. Now let me give you a backstory, David. 11-year-old bit by a snake. Dad doesn't help him. He dies. He's charged with manslaughter. Is this good? Yes or no?
I said it from the beginning. Everyone go back, and not right now, go back and watch it on a later time. I said that he should go to prison for manslaughter, and he should. That was your child. He allowed his child to be, all he said was, go take a nap. His son made it to the fridge to get a drink and collapsed. It is his own fault for not taking his son to the hospital, and that's my own personal opinion. Does not make it true. But where you live in Australia and anything pretty much can kill you, go take it to the next level. Get your kids some help. Do something. Don't be like, go take a nap, sleep it off. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
So as a judge, and now both of you can answer this. Now I was looking up the laws. Every state is different. Like for instance, in California, murder and manslaughter is different. Murder, it's more severe penalties. Manslaughter, it's like penalties, but not as severe. Like murder, you fuck around and get a life. Manslaughter, each state is different. They give a different amount of time. Like I looked up California. They said you can get 2 years, you can get 8 years, you can get 15 years. I looked up New York, the term for manslaughter. They said they giving out a flat 12 rate for manslaughter. Every state is different. Now both of you can answer this. Is manslaughter good? And if you think it is good, how many years do you think he should get? What's the maximum he would get?
I will let Rodriguez go first.
How many years do you think he should get for allowing his kid to die?
Honestly, I don't know. If somebody has like a past, where I've been locked up, I can't be that guy that says you need to be this amount. Now, I do agree he should be locked up. How long? That's not up for me to decide type thing, but I do think he should be locked up. That's fucked up. Your 11-year-old comes up to you and tells you he got bit, and you should know what's in your area. I mean, depending on where you are in Australia, there's different venomous species more commonly found, like in Arizona. My area, the most common 3 are Diamondback, the Sidewinder, and Mojave Green. Those are the most common in my area. My kid says she got bit by something. I now have to identify what she got bit by because I know that's more common than our non-venomous in our area.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe it's not to the average hurt person, but still, if you live in that type of situation where there's a ton of venomous that could kill you in a matter of hours, you'd think you'd be more concerned.
If you were to ask me about the situation, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a hard ass. I think I would have upped it. I'm gonna be rich. I don't think I would have went with manslaughter. I would have went with murder. I would have gave him 25 years. Murder, 25 years, because you got to think. Being a parent, I'm a dad. I can never see my son dying from a snake bite. I'm taking him. You got bit. Let's go check it out. So for me to allow somebody, this is an 11-year-old kid. He's never going to open his eyes again. So I think that the judge went too easy. I think manslaughter is, I don't know what I said last episode, but thinking about it now, if you were to ask me now, Derek, what do you think about this? Manslaughter, you're being too lenient. It's murder, 25 years, and not even just that. While you're in jail, I'm making you take snake classes so you can tell me which ones are venomous and which ones aren't.
Also, so my answer, and this is how I feel about it, and people might say it's a little fucked up because the kid was 11. I want 11 years of him in prison.
11 years? That's
I like that.
DP, I think that's too lenient. Think about this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this: your kid never waking up again. Is 11 years enough for the person that murdered him?
But there's a difference between him murdering his kid and his snake biting his kid, and that's why I'm saying manslaughter was the best way to go. And I'm just saying 11 years in prison should mark him, and that's going to make him think even more because his kid died, and now he's thinking about it. And now you got to stay just as long as your kid did, man.
I don't know.
That's all you're going to be thinking about for every day. That's going to be torture.
Or okay, let me take this. Maybe I'd go with manslaughter like you, but I'd make him sit and listen to how the mother feels. I think that's even tougher. But anyway, crazy subject. I wanted to follow up with it. Like I said, we talked about it a couple podcasts ago. To see that he's actually charged is going to be insane. I think I'm going to keep following up with it because I do want to see how many years he gets. So, let's go into the next subject. And before we bring it up, want to stay on the topic of parents. You know, this parent did it wrong. Let's talk about when a parent does it right. Let's pull this topic up. So in Australia, this was a 10-foot carpet python. He bit and drug a 5-year-old into the pool. Now, let me see if I can read it. A 5-year-old Australian boy has survived being bitten, constricted, and dragged into a swimming pool by a python 3 times his size. Bureau Blake was enjoying the swim at home when a 10-foot reptile struck, his father told a local station. Let's pull up the next page. No, the other one.
That is the other one. It goes from that one.
Oh, that's fine. Let's take that down. Take that down. I think that this was an amazing story because when I read it, it was this kid is at home, he's swimming, and a snake literally grabs him and pulls him into a pool. And the dad and grandpa just immediately spring into action and save this kid's life. How does that make you feel? And not just that, how does that make you feel? And how do we reward this dad and this grandpa for doing it right?
Yes. And I want to let Rodriguez go first, but
I mean, that's insane. I wrap my head around that. A 10-foot snake, you're out. You got to think you're swimming. A 10-foot snake comes get you while you're swimming. Like, dude, Australia's off the hook at this point, man. Like, that's what I'm thinking about at this point. Like, I was gonna go and visit, and like my sponsors are from Australia. And I was gonna go out there. Now I'm like reconsidering it over here. Like, I can't even go swimming. That's just nuts. I really have no comment on that one. That's nuts to me. Just around that head, like you're just swimming and a snake just comes to get you.
I want to interrupt you, Rodriguez. You got to comment because the dad that did it wrong, we severely punished him. Now this is it's like think. I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you're a dude, you're a cheater, right? Your woman hates you. She breaks up with you. She divorces you. All that shit, right? She goes to your phone. She sees a million text messages. She gives it to you bad, right? But what happens to that guy that the woman goes to his phone and doesn't find anything? He should be rewarded, right?
well, this is how I'm looking at it. I think that honestly, I think like.
Hold on, I think I might have to leave and come back. For some reason, everybody's frozen on my screen and it's all going choppy. Hold on, I think my internet's acting up. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, you get your take on the BPL. So we got a guy. He did it wrong. He didn't protect his sick kid on this hand, and on this hand, you have that dad that is protecting his son.
This is what I'm saying. He did the right thing. This one did the right thing. The father had instinct. Instead of being like, oh, I'll see my kid wrestle with the snake in the pool. I'll film it. No. Okay. He jumped in. He did action right away, saved his kid with the grandpa, and the guy should be rewarded. But you got to think about this too. The Rosie boa, right? Rosie, right? Or no, it was carpet python. Sorry. It's a wild carpet python just trying to find a meal. So I'm not hating on the snake, but I'm not hating on the dad for this one. The dad did the right thing. Now, is the snake alive? I don't know. That's another topic, another time. But I think the dad and the grandpa did an amazing job in jumping straight into action and stopping the kid from dying.
Here's the thing, carpet pythons do get that big, man. In my senior comic, carpet pythons get huge. But at the end of the days, no matter how big the snake was or not, if you were to ask me, I say that if we're going to do, penalize a parent for doing it wrong, I feel like we need to reward this guy, not necessarily with a internet story. I think he deserves an award, not necessarily, from the mayor, but somebody in his city. Hey, this is bravery. You stood up. He didn't know if that snake was venomous, but he still, as a parent, saved his kid's life. So I would love to see, not just an internet story, but I'd love to see it get picked up, by the news wherever those two people are from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says Sherry Lynn said the guy should be rewarded. Venom said he don't think it was 10 foot long. at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, I think it was a awesome story. So, what's your take on it, Rodriguez? You said you don't have a comment. You don't think he should get some kind of kudos for saving his kid's life?
I mean, he saved his kid's life, so I mean, that's kudos to him. I mean, I think the story's a little exaggerated, looking at like the picture of the snake.
That wasn't
When
the
you brought
snake.
it up.
That wasn't the snake.
Oh, it wasn't the snake. Okay, I was about to say, that picture of that snake was really small. I was about to say, because the snake up there is 10 foot, and I'm like, that is a very small snake. But either way, I mean, he saved his kid. He did what he needed to do to save the kid, and that's the. I mean, kudos to the dad.
I agree.
So I want to say welcome Fungus Queen and GCG. Thank you. I'll give you a subscribe back. Appreciate it.
What's up, Fungus Queen? What's up, GCG? I sent you the message. Good for being here, man. Now let's go ahead and get into the next topic. Bring up the next page.
I just gotta say this real quick though, dude. I'm loving my new phone. It's just awesome.
Now we talked about this a couple weeks ago. A zoo, they ended up having to shut down because they lost a king cobra. Now what was crazy is they caught the king cobra and it escaped again. Not very long after, like maybe found after 6 days, only to escape again. Now this is a crazy story, and I want to get your guys' take on it. Let me read it real quick first. A venomous snake that forced the zoo to close after escaping its enclosure and vanished hours after being recaptured, says authorities. Let's bring up the next page because it should be a potentially deadly king cobra has gone missing again, only hours after being tracked down after a previous escape. The snakes housed at some zoo in Stockholm escaped. Let's see. It was found. They isolated him in a terrarium. Go to the next page. This is how they thought it got out. They said it is thought that he squeezed himself out of a gap located around the new energy-saving bulbs inside the enclosure. Now, I want to get your guys' take on this. A zoo loses a cobra. It stays gone for like 6 days. They recapture it, and it gets out again. And this is overseas in Stockholm somewhere. What's your guys' take on it? Should we just say the hell with the zoo, or accidents happen, sanctions, fines? What would you do if you were the person in charge of handling this?
I'm gonna be honest. I'd shut that down quick, dude. If that's getting out, your whole venom, everything needs to be rechecked. I mean, I don't care how you set up your cage, but they need to be escape proof for a reason. Like, that's just if I come in here and my stuff ain't escape proof, who's to say I ain't gonna get tagged in the ankle by something?
Right.
Like, that's not cool. And then, like, being at a zoo, you have thousands of people coming through there. And little Timmy sees a snake crawling on the floor. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna be like the dude over there holding whatever. He's gonna grab that snake. He's gonna get bit. The person next to him's gonna get bit. Like, no, that is 100% horrible. My thing is how is that cage built? If it's able to get past the heat emitter, that means if it's a king cobra, I think I heard you say, right? It was said as a king cobra.
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly what cobra was. Pull it up. Let's read it again, Dave.
I think when you were reading it, I heard king cobra, but I mean, those are some solid snakes.
Yeah, venomous cobra. Let's pull it back down. Yep, that's what it said.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a solid snake. So for it to get out of a gap, that's crap. That should have been completely sealed. To where that snake should have never gotten out, and I would go through the entire venomous and get that checked.
Before we keep going, I'm gonna give you a different scenario, and I want you to be open and honest. This is the good, the bad, the ugly. I've had this guy on my podcast, and word got back to me. He's back working with venomous now. Gift. He lost a cobra in I want to say North Carolina or New Hampshire, somewhere over there. Now, I think that how do you think they handle the situation? I am curious. Give me your take on this, and then we'll go back to the zoo and talk to BPL about it. How do you think that? How good do you think they handle that situation with him? Because legally, I think he's legally able to work with Venomous now again. I think I've seen him. I heard he was at Venom Fest working with Cobras after losing one.
I see. I understand mistakes happen, but he should have had a way more than just a slap on a wrist. Like he waited. He knew it was out. This man knew it was out and waited days to say anything to anybody before. It wasn't like it was just some mildly venomous snake that has to bite you. It was a spitting cobra.
Yeah.
It ain't gotta bite nobody. It could spit from feet away. And he knew it was out. He didn't say nothing to nobody.
That, and also he was bitten by his own green mamba. So I mean, we keep going further into the story, but as for the king cobra escaping, in my opinion, escaping, I agree with Rodriguez. They need to get rid of their.
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you, BPL. Who do you think should have it worse? The individual that lost the venomous animal, or the zoo that lost the animal?
The zoo, and here's why. The zoo is responsible for hundreds, depending on how big the zoo is, it's responsible for thousands of people coming into your zoo looking at exotic animals, regardless if you're like, I don't want to see the reptiles. Let's just say a gorilla got out, or a fucking zebra, or a fucking orangutan. Like, we could bring up other animals that are inside of a zoo that'll fucking kick your ass quicker than shit, right? But to lose a cobra twice, you found it 6 days later, and then a couple hours go by and you look back in there and it's gone. Nah, you guys need to get rid of your venomous until you guys get your stuff done.
For me, I'm gonna have to agree with Rodriguez. It's just, at first it was like, okay, I don't want you to shut the zoo down. You lost it. Shit happens. But to see them lose the cobra again, it pissed me off, because they're like, well, it slid behind these lights and it's heat emitter and it got out. I get it, shit happens, but shit don't happen multiple times. Like, the first time was an accident. The second time is just you're being fucking careless. And it's, when people come to the zoo, when I bring my son to the zoo, I'm not just paying to see a lion. I'm paying with that mind to say, okay, I know that this lion is not getting out of this cage. My son is safe. So to jeopardize the public's, the public safety, it pisses me off, man. What are you looking at back there, brother?
So to specify this is not a venomous cage at all.
Yeah.
But if they were gonna have a king cobra in a cage that that where they shouldn't get out, and they're saying the heat emitter and everything, I'm gonna show something. I'm not a zoo. There's my heat emitter. There's this light. There's no way this thing is getting out, right? That is all screwed in, completely sealed to where nothing can get out. I'm not a zoo, but I guarantee you, if I put a cobra in there, it ain't getting out.
Right. I love those cages, man. Who are those cages by?
They're just random made. Just random. Buddy of mine made them, and I ended up getting all these animals that were in them. Besides, actually, that one's got a iguana in there right now.
I love it.
Because it's too cold for him to go outside. But a buddy of mine got it.
Hey, great.
He got a union job in here.
Here being our co-host, man. Now, I want to go to the next story, man. Let's bring up the next topic. And I want to get your opinion on this.
Uh-oh.
Now, insane news story right here. A broken-hearted zookeeper let a snake fatally bite him on a live stream after his wife left him. Guy was 31, told his YouTube subscribers to call his wife after the snake bit him because it would make her happy, him happy if he could see her. Now I want to take this story down to get your opinion on this. Is this good for the hobby, bad for the hobby? Give me your idea on this.
Oh wow.
You first, Nico.
Wow. All right. Where do I start? How about you grow a fucking set? I'm just saying, that's just me personally. Get the fuck over her leaving you. Is your life really worth ending it because your wife left you? Like, that's just saying, if my wife watches and she gets mad, whatever. But if she leaves me, I'm not gonna let no fucking cobra or rattlesnake or gaboon or no fucking bushmaster, no fucking Lance DePaul or whatever fucking. I ain't gonna let none of that shit bite me just because she left me. Like, it's not worth it. Like, get the fuck over your own little security issues and move the fuck on. Pull your pants up like a big boy and move the fuck on. For you to do that, you're making the venomous reptile keepers look bad because you're a little pussy. Sorry, pansy. Whatever. Rodriguez, your turn.
No, BPL, we're still on you right now. We're still on you. Now,
I honestly, I'm sorry, but I have no sympathy for the guy. He allowed the thing to bite him. He allowed the thing to bite him. He makes other venomous keepers look bad.
BPL, where's the sensitivity?
What sensitivity for what? That he cried about something because his girlfriend left him or wife? I'm sorry. Maybe if you're a better husband, she wouldn't have left you.
Now is this what you would have told him if you were sitting next to him? He said, BPL, I'm about to kill myself. Is this what you would have told him?
I would have smacked the shit out of him. I've been like, shut the fuck up, pull your big boy pants on. Come on. Like, really, you're gonna go get bitten by a shark. Go wrestle with a bear and die that way. Don't make reptile fucking venomous keepers. Sorry, language. Don't make venomous keepers look bad. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't make other people look bad because you are having a heartbreak. Okay, I understand. It sucks. If my wife left me, it would be heartbreaking. But at the same time, I'm not going to kill myself over something so little. Like, it's not that it's little, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're making other reptile keepers that deal with venomous look horrible. That's like saying, okay, let's just say this. Tyler Nolan, I'm just saying hypothetically, Tyler Nolan, they break up again, because we all know they broke up before. And he's like, I'm done. I want to let Kilo bite me in the neck. That makes everyone else look bad, dude. I'm sorry, but no. Rodriguez, what is your take on this?
Give us your take on this.
I got no sympathy for the guy, like, at all. Like, I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, he did it on live, knowing what he was going to do. He's a zookeeper, venomous keeper. He knows what he was doing. At the end of the day, I honestly don't believe he was trying to kill himself. I think he knew, being at a zoo, you have reach to the anti-venom, because if you're a zoo, you have anti-venom. For what you keep, you have anti-venom on hand. On top of that, he's got multiple people in the live stream to call his wife, call whoever needed to be called. He let everybody know where he's at, how to get a hold of his wife, how to get a hold of whoever. This dude had a way out, and he just wanted to be sympathetic and be like, or try to get sympathy from everybody. That's the way I see it. I don't think he was trying to kill himself. He didn't try to kill himself. There's plenty of easier ways to do it. You can go get a gun, boom, done, painless. Getting bit by a snake, a venomous snake, that shit burns. I don't know if anybody's on the panel other than myself has been bit by a venomous snake before. That shit sucks. Like, after 30 minutes of a bite, depending on what you get bit by, you get what's called the torch effect.
Okay,
and so that's like literally
sorry. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm just showing it.
So when you get bit by a venomous snake, you about 30 minutes and you get what's called the torch effect. And when you hear venomous keepers who have been bit talk about it, then what their meaning is, when you get, like, if you ever messed with a blowtorch, it's hot. It's like that in your veins all over from where you got bit, and it's going up. And it sucks because there's nothing you can do about it.
Now,
like, it's nasty.
Rodriguez, I got to interrupt you. So I'm going to pose a question for y'all, and I'm going to be honest, because I've done it before, so I'm going to be honest. So y'all ain't never done nothing fucking crazy to get your girl back?
No.
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 See, I'm there. I'm not.
No, hold on. The next morning, I ain't gonna lie. I'll say this on live stream. She's probably watching. She'll be like, bullshit, because the next morning, I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, I did a little begging. Like, I'm like, please.
I ain't saying you sit there and told her you were sorry. I asked you both a simple question. Y'all ain't never did nothing fucking crazy to get your girl back?
Hell no.
I didn't. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't shot in the air.
Really quick, Derek.
I'm gonna kill everybody. You better come over.
Derek, really quick. All right. So Heather wants to know what we're talking about. So a zookeeper, Heather, was on a live stream. His wife left him, so he went live with a deadly venomous reptile. It doesn't say which snake he got bit by, really. And he allowed the snake to bite him because his wife left him. I don't have sympathy for him. Neither does Rodriguez. Once again, Rodriguez made a huge point. You're in a zoo. You have capabilities of getting the anti-venom. Also, you know what you're doing on your live stream. You know what's about to happen once you get bit. So no, I don't feel sorry for the guy. I feel like he just made all other reptile breeders or keepers that deal with venomous look bad. That's my personal take on it. He should not be working in a zoo anymore. He should be fired. His 401k, if he had one, should be stripped to $0. He should have nothing left.
Now, I'm gonna pose this question to somebody's messaging me. Marquez Family Restaurant. I'm gonna pose this question to the women in the chat. I ain't saying they got to be this extreme, but none of y'all had an ex-boyfriend do nothing crazy to try and get y'all back, or tell y'all they was gonna do something extreme if y'all didn't come home. Now I ain't gonna lie, I've grabbed my pistol before and shot in the air. I said, I'm finna kill everybody. You better come over here. I'm finna go crazy. Now, I'm curious. I want to see the comments. Missy Ann, you ain't never had a guy do nothing crazy to say, look, you better come back, baby. I need you back. You better come over here. I'm finna snap. I don't know. I think that is if you ask me, I think it's a terrible tragedy. I think that we need, we need zookeepers, but he needed. Hold on, let me see what they're talking about in the comments.
Welcome, Emily.
Emily, good evening, everyone. I think that it's a terrible tragedy. I think that he needed more male friends, and I think it was a little more to it than just a woman. I don't know. I think it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't have some good. I ain't gonna say because the women in the chat. I didn't have some good stuff. But if your stuff is that good to make me want to kill myself, I don't want it. I don't want none of that. Keep it away from me. If your snatching make you kill myself, I don't want it.
Let me grab the popcorn. Manipulation is a shitty thing. Yeah.
Solo laughing. Like I didn't have some great, and I hate to say this because it's women, but I didn't have some great stuff. But if your stuff make me want to go rob a bank, kill myself, do anything crazy, I don't want. It's not for me. No, thank you. You can keep that. I don't know. None of the women answer my question. Before we go to the next topic, answer my question. Any women in the chat, have y'all ever had a crazy girl? I mean, a crazy ex do anything crazy to try and get you back? Any women in the chat? I'm curious.
Truthful answers, please.
Truthful answers. I want to know. Missy Ann. Yep. Any ex-boyfriend? Solo Butterfly. Casey. Any exes? Sherry. Heather said if it's that good, you won't be doing anything to lose it. Crying.
Exactly. Good answers. Put a sock in Derek's mouth for a second.
I'm crying. All right. Crazy topic, man. We don't have much time today because, like I said, I am at work. But we're going to talk about a couple more topics and ask you guys, real quick, before we go to the next topic, how was everybody's holiday? How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Did y'all cook? Did y'all get full? Who did the cooking? Heather, did you cook? Sherry, did you cook? Missy Ann, you look like you cook turkey. You look like a turkey cooker. Nobody's really.
The one thing I could say is I went to my mom's, and then today I went to Verizon, picked up the new Galaxy or the Google Pixel 7 Pro.
What made you go with the Google Pixel 7, bro? Why not the iPhone, man?
Because I want great pictures.
I got the iPhone 13. I like my camera.
Yeah, but I don't know. The whole deleting shit out of your pictures, I liked it.
Cornish hens. I don't think I've ever had a Cornish hen. It sounds good, Heather. Anyways, happy holidays to y'all in the chat, man. Thank you guys for being here. This is an amazing show where we just talk about random stuff that's happening in the hobby, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's different topics every podcast. Let's bring up the next topic, and I want to get you. Oh no, before we do that, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. I want to know is because the next topic is about big snakes, and I'm gonna ask you, Rodriguez. This is for you, Rodriguez. I think BPO's already answered this question.
Yes.
Rodriguez reptiles, big snakes. Do you think they're good for the hobby? Do you think they're ruining the hobby? If you look at the FWC, they're trying to get rid of the Burmese pythons. You have retics out there, all kind of big snakes. So my question to you is: are big snakes good for the hobby, or are they bad for the hobby?
I don't think they're bad for the hobby. I keep just as background. I have Burmese. I have retics. I have snakes that are a little, in between that size of, between ball python to retic size. And I mean, I can't. You can't blame the snake, in my opinion. I blame the keeper. I mean, no, a retic is not for everybody. A mainland retic is not for everybody. But it's not the snake's fault. It's the person that gets it. You need to do the research. Make sure you have the adequate space, that you're ready to deal with something that can potentially get 20 feet. Will it get 20 feet? Probably not. But there's still that potential there depending on how you're going to feed it. And that's something that you should be aware of when you get this thing at a foot to 2 feet, depending on whenever you get it, baby to juvenile. But that's something you should be prepared for before you just be like, I want that.
Thanks. I love that answer. I love that answer.
But see, I got a different answer, Rodriguez. I'm on the fence. Now, you're giving an answer, from a reptile keeper to another reptile keeper. I want you to think about not just I want you to think about the hobby as a whole, from the public and the reptile keepers. And thinking about the public, Rodriguez, I'm gonna have to disagree with you because the public is scared of snakes. So if you were to go to a random person that didn't like snakes, what do you think you could approach them with but more? A hognose snake or a retic? What do you think they're gonna be more scared of? You know what I mean? I think that until we're able, for me, I think until we're able to quell the public's fear, I don't think that we should. I think that we should keep the bigger snakes in the zoos. Because until then, I don't know.
So real quick, I do educational shows.
Yeah.
I do outreach programs. I go to schools. We do birthday parties. We do things like that.
Right.
When I start off with the smallest things I bring. Baby sulcata tortoises, baby ball pythons, corn snakes, stuff like that. The small stuff to introduce you into it. And then we work our way up to the juvenile, the adult. And then by the end of the day, before I leave, I have everybody, even the person that is there. The second you pull out a snake, there's always one or two in the crowd every time. And anybody that does shows can tell you this as well. There is always one or two that straight scream and say, that's fuck that snake.
Right.
Every time. Keep it away from me. Fuck that snake. Get it away from stuff like that. By the end of my show, I always have that person either touching or holding the biggest animal I bring, which is either my retic or a Burmese.
And hold on, and I agree. Okay, I agree with Rodriguez. So when I went to Anaheim, right, I can't remember the dude's name, technically, or on the top of my head, but he had a huge-ass retic around him, right? And it was beautiful. People around him that didn't have reptiles, that just went to go to the show just to see reptiles, and that probably didn't own any, they were terrified. Right. By the time they got closer and closer and realized the snake was not going to aggressively or anything harm them, they were more contained and more relaxed to know there's somebody there to prove you some knowledge and show you knowledge of these big retics, Burmese, rosy boas, whatever kind of, you could even bring up a red tail. That's in between. That's like a 12-foot red tail or 9-foot red tail, whatever. Like, it's the point of like knowing, like, you're getting information from the right people, of course. I mean, you don't want to buy from somebody. I'm not saying like not just anybody, but like somebody that has knowledge with these big snakes, right? So, with that being said, like,
I hate to interrupt you, BPL, but I get what you're saying. But I'm talking more so on the big side of snakes right now. I think that with lawmakers pushing a lot of these laws, for me personally, to get more of the general public on our side, I think that maybe keep some of the bigger snakes away from them. Showing, educating, like you said, with the smaller stuff, and then, like Rodriguez said, introduce them to the bigger ones. But I see,
So when I have people, right, because I just got the ball pythons, like I only got the tree green basilisk and now a redfoot tortoise. But when they come over to see the ball pythons, I always start with the bigger ones before I start with the little ones, because if you can't handle a little hatchling or a baby or a juvenile, you're not going to be able to hold the bigger ones. So I always break that right away. Right. I always use the biggest ball python I got, and I go from there and go down in size. So they can realize, like, because I have more temperament issues with the smaller ones than I do the bigger ones.
Well,
I'm not saying all of them, but there's 3.
Let's bring up this story. I want to show you something that happened with bigger snakes. No, this ain't the picture. It's a different one. It's got a guy's face on it. So I don't know if y'all remember this story. Man brutally strangled to death by his own 18-foot pet boa constrictor. Crazy story. A snake lover was killed by one of the reptiles he was looking for after he was cleaning his cage. Elliot Sinsman died 4 days after he was found by his grandmother. Now go to the next page.
All right, hold on. I gotta go back to it. Sorry.
Crazy story. Local news reports say it was his grandmother that found him on the floor with a snake wrapped tightly around his neck. She called the police, who were forced to kill the snake to make sure that he would suffocating. It would release it from his clutches. Now let's bring that down and talk about that story. What went wrong here? Do you think it was because he was working with the snake by himself? Why did this man die? And could it have been prevented?
Once again, so I mean, there's a lot of the stories we don't know, Derek. And
this is BP. I gotta interrupt you. This ain't a wild caught one. This is a one that he had at his home that he had for a while.
Right. But I need to make a couple points very clear, and hopefully, Rodriguez, you can agree with me. Is the enclosure you're keeping this big snake in comfortable for the snake? That's number one. Number two, when's the last time you fed the huge snake you have? It doesn't matter what kind of huge snake you want to bring up. How often do you actually handle this animal without being afraid of it? How often do you actually pull it out to be like, I'm spending time with this huge retic or Burmese like weekly or day, at least every other day, and being like, it has a bond. We have this trust community. We have a trust bond between each other. But yet, if it's a snake that you don't pull out very often and you expect it to be buddy, and it's that big, things could have gone south very quick for anybody. Now, once again, it comes down to, did he buy the snake? Is he a breeder? Or is he just a keeper that bought a huge snake and was like, yeah, I got this big 14, 15, 16-foot fucking retic in my collection. And then he finally pulls it out and he grows enough courage and it kills him? Now, whose fault is that if he never actually spent time with it?
So you think...
It doesn't know if you're going to kill it or not if you never spent time with it. It might see you as a threat. Or it only knows you for feeding it. Right.
Heather said he trusted he trusted the animal too much. So my question to you is, are we, and I pose this question to both of you. And Rodriguez, you still need to answer the first question. But are we selling retics to people that are working with them by themselves? Retics, Burmese, all these snakes that get 18, 20 foot. Are we working with are we selling them to people that, like this guy, he didn't have anybody to help him. It's him and his grandma. So, my question is, do we continue to sell big snakes to people that, are alone? Or do we force them to have at least 2 people in the home? And also, Rodriguez, you answered the question. What do you think went wrong here, and could it have been prevented?
Well, so the issue that I had with that is it was a boa constrictor. It obviously wasn't 18 foot. There's no way that this man had a captive 18-foot boa constrictor. There's no way. Now, do I believe a large boa constrictor could do this? 100%. Boa constrictors are very strong animals. Very strong animals. Now, I know from experience, it does not take very much when you have a snake around your neck to actually, constrict. And it doesn't even have to collapse the airway. If it stops the blood flow on the sides of your necks, or on the side of your neck, sorry, you're gonna pass out. That's a simple thing. I've seen it happen before. All they do is just hold on and put pressure on both sides of your neck.
Yeah.
And it'll restrict the blood flow, and they pass out. Do I believe it's something like that? Possibly. Could it been a feeding response? Most definitely. I mean, boa constrictors are very food-driven animals.
I'm talking about more like retics and Burmese. I'm talking
more
about
so. I mean, even if you think Burmese retics, I mean, the snake's demeanor is all the same. When you're looking at a large constrictor, Burmese, retic, whatever you want to call it, they are very food-driven animals. And again, it goes with, yeah, you should, if you're going to have something that's over 10 feet, you should probably have a second person around. Especially if you're not capable of dealing with something that size.
Right.
Now, should we or stop selling to people because they have or they don't have two or more people in the home? That doesn't really matter. I mean, and it does, but it doesn't, because how am I supposed to know if that guy has multiple people in the house? He could tell me yes.
That's true.
I mean, he could say yes. How am I supposed to know? And even on that aspect, I keep big snakes. My wife isn't the biggest help when it comes to the big snakes. She's there sometimes, but not all the time. It's up to me to still deal with that big snake. If it goes to the bathroom and she's at work, I still got to clean that cage.
Yep.
I just have to do it more safely.
Right.
Because now I know there is nobody around to help me. And so I'll make the safety precaution. Like, one of my buddies can protest to this. He lives down the road from me. I'll have him on the phone if I'm dealing with one of the larger snakes, like Lucy. A lot of people know who Lucy is. That's my biggest retic. She's a dick. But she has every right to be. She was a rescue, and I won't get into that whole thing, but she has a right to hate people. And that's just how she is. So when dealing with her, I'm 6'1" and I'm about 380 pounds. This snake is almost 17, about 17 plus weight. She is huge, fat wise. She can overpower me with just her tail. She is strong. And when dealing with a big snake like that, it takes a lot to deal with. And for my advice to anybody who decides to get a big snake, if you ever end up in a predicament where you are being wrapped, whether it's a food thing, whether you just pissed this snake off and it turned on you and decided to wrap you for whatever reason, stay calm, find the tail, and chew on it as if you're eating corn. Because that is like a red button for a snake. They will let you go immediately. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but that's a huge thing. If you have a constrictor, a large constrictor wrapping you, even if it's just your arm and you want to get the snake off, if it's wrapping you for a food response, which most of the time it is a food response, grab its tail, chew on the tail. Don't be afraid to, hurt the snake, because you're really not going to hurt it. But that bite on the tail is an instant release button. It's like a eat or be eaten type thing, and they're like, I'm out of here, and they let you go.
I don't think I'll ever be in that situation, because I'm never never getting a Burmese. My 10-foot carpet python, that's enough. I think the carpet python is as big as I'm going. Like David, he's ballsy. If I could, I'd go give me a recheck right now. I say, you go ahead with that, brother. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I want one for sure, and I eventually will get one. My wife made it very clear, though, I cannot get one until we move from here, and I understand why. Being
well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, BQ.
Just being in the apartment and all that, like, it's not the best for the retics. Really don't have the space for it, so that's why I haven't just, I'm not just gonna go buy one because I want one. But once I get the room and the space and I'm able to move out, yeah, damn right, I'm buying one. I will. I will love that thing like no tomorrow.
I know I'm never gonna be in that situation. Like I said, I've seen the thickness of it when it's around Brian Barczyk's neck when he picks those big snakes up, and I'm just like, hell no, fuck that. So
If
I don't
you,
know.
I don't know if you guys have seen. I did a video with Jay Brewer,
I see.
and dude, he threw a big snake on, and that snake is like 3 times the size of Lucy, like thick wise. And I mean, just putting that snake on one side of me, like having her up here, was enough to be like, holy cow. Like, like if this thing decides to squeeze, I'm fucked. And I guarantee the amount of people that are around me were not going to be able to help me. Like, that thing was huge. And at a certain point, you know, especially with retics, Burmese, whatever, what do you want to look at? Just those two in particular. You really have to work with them, because if you don't, you now have a 100+ pound snake that is 16+ feet, average wise,
Right.
that is now royally pissed off and wants nothing to do with you because you didn't handle it while you could at a manageable size.
Right.
But so to go back to the topic that was originally, put up, but to me, and Rodriguez, tell me if you agree. How often did he handle this boa that killed him, or how often was he feeding it? Was he somebody that was like, I had one and I was like feeding it once a month or some type of shit, and he decided to handle it to him when it was hungry? Like, there's more to the story that we don't know. And the more and more we find out, the more and more we could actually, I feel like we could all explain what truly happened. But because
still like
until then,
just
at the end of the day, I still think it's a person negligent thing. Whether it's a food response, whether it's the big, whether it just he wasn't handling it and decided to handle it alone, and now in one way or another, it was negligence that caused his demise at the end of the day.
Right. Now, let's go ahead and go to the next topic because I don't have a lot of time left, but let's bring it up, man. I thought it was pretty funny.
Is that it?
No.
Oh, here we go.
Let's talk about this, man. Like, I don't know if you've been keeping up. Rodriguez, I see you a lot, doing a lot of stuff for USARK. I'm not sure how heavy you are in the USARK BPL, but how do we feel about this, man? USARK has been, putting out a lot of stuff about turtles, man. To see the FWC coming after turtles and making a lot of new laws about turtles. How does this make you feel, man? Do you own any turtles, Rodriguez?
I do. I actually breed Mata turtles as well as some other side necks and pink belly side necks. We got a lot of species of turtles actually.
Have you been keeping up with that?
And it's irritating because I actually have a video that's being dropped here later this week about the Diamondback terrapin, and I actually touched about it a little bit in the last video I did at Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary. There is a species of turtle out in Florida that is a brackish turtle, which is the Diamondback terrapin.
Yeah.
And FWC is just straight, don't want nobody breeding them, don't want nobody having them. Now, they are native to Florida and a few other places as well.
Rodriguez, I hate to interrupt you, but to me, it's crazy to see it. It's like they want to ban turtles. Like Franklin, yep. This shit is crazy.
Yep. Well, and what's irritating is just the Diamondback terrapin it's under attack. They're getting stuck in the lobster traps. So USARK Florida is actually trying to get them to modify the traps so that way the turtles can get out of them and still survive. Because a lot of times the crabbers are pulling up their baskets and they're getting crabs. But they're also getting 3 or 4 Diamondback terrapins dead in there because they drowned. They couldn't get out to go get air. So instead of being okay with it, FWC is like, nah, that's their problem. That's nature. And they're like, and so instead of allowing insurance colonies in Florida and or to allow people to breed them for the hobby or just insurance colony, whatever. They don't want to do it. They're pushing back so much to the point to where they're going after many turtle species. And if it can live in Florida, they don't want it there, is basically where they're at.
Right, and that's crazy. You know, David, how does that make you feel, man? To see, you know, a organization not just going after snakes,
Okay, so
but
I
after,
got a lot to say about this one. I got a lot to, and I'll make it quick.
oh
You
yeah,
broke into a dude's house. You shot the dude. He didn't have anything. Now you want to ban turtles. What's next? Worms, fishes, birds? I mean, like, we could get off reptiles. We could go further from that. The only thing I got to say about the FWC is a big fuck you, and straight to you two, nerd. And that's all I got to say about it. Like, I mean, what's truly next? They're going to be like, you can't have an ant farm. Like, really, like, get the hell out of here.
They are pushing for not birds, but they may be pushing for birds. I may not have seen it yet, but they are pushing for fish. Certain fish species they're trying to ban out there now because a lot of it is invasive, like the different species of cichlids out there in their waterways. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of people out there in Florida, and I mean, I get videos randomly sent to me. The most common that you see in the pet trade that everybody wants when they think of aggressive fish is the Oscar, which is, you know, something I can get about this
Yeah,
big.
no, yeah.
And yeah, a buddy of mine caught 3 of them in under 30 minutes, and they were big, like hybrid Oscars. And so, I mean, their environment out there is perfect for multiple species, whether it's reptiles, whether it's birds, waterways, whatever they're trying, whatever it is, it's almost perfect for all of them. But they have so many hurricanes out there that all the facilities that got destroyed during the hurricanes that is caused the problem that they're at now. And it doesn't help that you get the random public that, you know, like I said, the uneducated that decide to get something big and say, the hell with this thing. It's costing me $30 a month to feed. I'm going to let this thing go because nobody wants to buy it. And it just adds to the issue that they're having out there.
right. I want to go to the next topic in a second because I don't have a lot of time. But I will say this is I showed that to say, you know, support USART. You know, it's so important. And I want to end on a positive note. Let's bring this story up. I thought it was kind of humorous.
So before we bring up this final topic, and I got to thank you, Rodriguez, for joining the show. Everyone watching, this is a cool topic. Derek found this one. I'm very impressed with this one a lot. Here we go.
So scientists found a new snake in Finland, and they named it after a Harry Potter character, Lord Voldemort's snake, Nagini. I can't pronounce that, but how interesting is that? Is this a win for the hobby? Are you here for it? They say that when they say that, I read the story, and they say that it was indestructible, saying that not necessarily that's indestructible, but it can live in where it's hot, where it's cold. It can live in different climates and still be okay, still thrive. So, you know, is this humorous? Like, how do you feel about this? Bring that down. Is this a win for us?
Who are you asking?
How do you feel about that?
I didn't know what you're asking first. No, I think that's awesome. Now it is Nagini. That's how it's pronounced, and I think that's awesome. I think that's cool. It's gonna confuse the crap out of a lot of people because Nagini in the movie is actually a reticulated python. But I think that's cool. I didn't even know about that, so I know what I'm looking into after this.
Definitely look it up. It's fun, man. How do you feel about that? Knowing that there's a snake out there named after a Harry Potter character, BPO.
I want one. Can we keep one? Is it allowed? Can I like? Is it venomous? Is it non-venomous? I want to know more about it. Like, I got to
this
do
is
a
like the
little
Tuatara incident all over again.
Man.
Hey, BPO, man, this was a great show. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for stopping by, man. This was a amazing show. Rodriguez, thank you for joining us. BPO, man, I'll let you shut it down because I got to get back to work.
All right, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, this is the Reptile Love Show. We talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. Of course, we had some ugly points. We had some good points. We had a dude suicidal. We saw new species on here today. Until next time, you guys are all fucking kick-ass awesome. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Until next time, peace out.